This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 592 for February 25th, 2019. I can perform acceptably.
Good at everything, master of nothing.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
A quick piece of audio warning here at the very beginning.
Yep.
There's some crazy wind where Moonpeer is right now, so if you hear some scary rattling in the background, it's not just a leftover Halloween sound CD, it's the weather.
Yep, it's my Windows debating if they want to come out of the frame or not. So
and to you.
Yes.
Yeah, and if Moonpeer drops off very suddenly, it's because he lost power.
Yep.
So, yeah, keep tuned here for probably a pretty crazy episode.
Yes.
If you're a patron, patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers of brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks out right now for the Prestige.
Yep.
And we were talking a little bit about it and during the patron exclusive pre-show for the Outcast, and that sounds like a really good episode.
Yep.
So,
and you should totally become a patron even at the $1 level just to hear my horrific singing every single week.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's dive into what you've been playing this past week.
Okay, start with the least controversial.
Oh boy, okay. Well, we're in for a great episode today then.
Yes. I have 3 games and they're all essentially controversial in their own rights, so...
Okay.
Yeah, this should be fun. Apex Legends. Guess what?
Is Apex Legends still good?
It's still real good.
Have you played with the new gun?
I played it with like 1 or 2 rounds, but then I messed up because I didn't realize it was a hold the trigger and it charges, like it spins up basically before it starts to fire, a bit like the Devotion, which is a LMG that gets faster the longer you hold the trigger.
Interesting.
I did not know that. I pointed it at somebody, pulled the right trigger, I was like, wait, what? Wait.
My gun's broken.
Pulled it again, and then realized that the reason it wasn't shooting is because you need to hold the trigger. So
interesting.
Lesson learned. It seems interesting. I haven't had too much time with it to actually play around. But I mean, Apex Legends is one of those games right now, I feel like, where it's like, oh hey, I'm feeling blah. I feel like I can work towards my damage achievements for the individual heroes.
Right. You be the jump master.
Yes, I am the jump master. I hate being the jump master. I
pass it off. I can't make the decision.
My decision is always the same. You go to the airstrip and you die. That's my decision every single time. Like the little landing space on the west side of the map, I believe it is. Like where it's got 2 things jetting out into the water and you can like get stuff from those like helicopters. I always go there and then I always die. Because it's a big open field, I never get a gun and then I die and then it's like, well, that was 20 seconds wasted.
Yeah, somebody snipes you in the first 2 minutes.
Or it just becomes this running in circles around each other, like punching the air kind of dance.
That's my favorite, where it's like, oh, they landed here too. Punch him.
But no, it's a good game. And, it's one of those things where you can jump in. And it's not like PUBG where I'm immediately feeling the pressure to perform well. Because it's like, it's Titanfall combat. It's something I'm comfortable with. Like, Fortnite, you've got to know what weapons are hit scan weapons, what weapons are bullet weapons,
Right.
You've got to be, you've got to have a degree in archaeology and everything else to be able to
You got to be able to build a country cottage.
Yeah, exactly. In 0.2 seconds flat. It's like playing Fortnite, it's like you're on a reality show where you've got to help everybody raise a barn. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Right. Whereas this game, it's like, I know these controls, I know these weapons, I'm comfortable enough to get in there, and even if I don't kill anybody, at least perform acceptably.
Right.
Which is about the best I can do. I can perform acceptably.
You can be the bedrock for your team.
Yes. But it's it's a good game. It feels good to play. It's quick enough to get in and get out because it's the hot new thing right now, and 25 million people and so on and so forth. So there's no huge.
The respawn system is really great.
Yes, that's something that I think the ping and the respawn system changed this from a game where it's not about finding stuff for you. I was about 2 milliseconds away from swearing then, so I'm glad I caught myself. But if you're not playing with people you're talking with, you do get an awful lot of gub munchers who just come in and steal all the gubbins before you're on the way.
Right.
But if you're playing with people, it's like, okay, I know what type of gun you like. Hashtag wingman for life.
Yes.
And there's a wingman. I have a wingman, or I have my preferred guns, which I prefer the sounds of nightmare coming from my window.
Spooky.
But no, I prefer the SMG, where when you get the right attachment for it, you can turn it into a full auto SMG. I can't remember what it's called. My wife would.
I feel like all the weapon names are sort of the same.
Yeah, I think it begins with a P. My wife would know, and I'm pretty sure if I said it out loud, she'd vomit wherever she is right now. Because I know she absolutely hates it. But no, I like that game. It's just, it's good. It's just some good, relaxing fun, which is kind of what I need right now. Speaking of good, relaxing fun, let's talk about Crackdown 3.
Okay. I didn't play a ton this week, but I did play some.
So I pretty much did a lap around the island, and I started at the south, and I went all the way around. There you go, my wife in chat. It's the Prowler, followed by blah, 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 blah.
Prowler, okay.
That's the SMG that I like. So I was playing Crackdown 3. When I started at the south of the map, where you do, and then I literally just did a clockwise motion around the island, and now all I have left is the dead center of the island.
Okay.
So I've got the huge towers to do, and that's pretty much it. I've done all of the races. I've done all of the I've done all of the street races. I haven't done all of the aerial races yet because the last rooftop race I need is on top of the building the last boss is in.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm missing one of those, and that's the only one I've got left to do. I've got to say, being level 5 and everything now, pretty sweet. Having my driving skill to the super secret max level of 6 is cool, because now when I beat my horn, I get sonic sound waves that come out of my car and blow everybody off like ragdoll physics.
That's really good.
It's dumb fun. And it must have done something, because I joined my wife's game, or my wife joined my game, I should say, and it runs fine.
Hey, nice.
We can't do street races together because then it just becomes a framey mess.
That's weird.
But we can run around, we can shoot people, we can collect some orbs, we might be able to throw cars at each other. And here's a Crackdown pro tip. If you're struggling with a stunt ring, something I learned from Crackdown 1 and 2, if you're struggling with a stunt ring, get in a car, have a fellow agent pick you up, and then throw that car through the stunt ring, and you still get credit for it.
That's right, I forgot. I'm glad they didn't fix that.
Yep, it's perfect. That is the quintessential Crackdown experience, is sitting in a car and having your friend throw you 7 stories up just so you can get a stupid stunt ring or an agility orb that's too high for your current skill level.
Breaking the game in the positive way.
Yeah, and it's still just as dumb as it ever was, and I don't like the fact that the agency car doesn't further transform. Like, you have the 3 modes and you transform between the 3 modes. The third mode, by the way, is a tank, not a big rig. Big mistake. It should still be the big rig.
Yeah, big rig was really good.
Yeah, especially when it was like a little thing and then it just became Optimus Prime by the end of it.
It just like poofs out.
But I don't like the fact that they don't evolve, but their skills evolve. And that's the important thing, is the fast agency car, it becomes that racing wedge that you got in the first Crackdown, where you just drive it and everything just goes over the top of you and flies into the sky. It's the Fast and the Furious 6, where you've got Vampire Dracula from the Vampire movie driving that little flipper car that flips all the cars out the way. It's that, basically.
Okay.
They played some Crackdown and they enjoyed it so much that they made it into a real life vehicle.
Right.
Dude, seriously, watch the Fast and the Furious movies.
I really have to.
Start at the first one.
I've seen the first one.
Rewatch the first one.
Okay.
Grit your teeth and bear it until you get to 5, and then just have a really good old time.
Okay.
But yeah, the vehicles the agency vehicles all feel pretty good. I love the fact that the Spider, the jumpy one, can drive up the side of buildings, because this
I unlocked that and it's really good.
There's something really special about finding just a big piece of wall and going, let's just drive up this and see what happens, and then realizing you've just stumbled on a boss and your wanted meter thing just goes maxed out immediately because you've just driven up the side of this building for fun, and then found this boss hidden in the middle of nowhere. So Crackdown is Crackdown, and you know what?
Yeah.
I get it. It hasn't evolved. I get it. It hasn't changed. But guess what? It's still fun. It's still dumb.
I feel like it hasn't evolved, it hasn't changed, because I feel like there's nothing really inherently wrong with Crackdown. I mean, I'm sure if you went back to the drawing table, I'm sure you could figure out 100 different ways how you can make Crackdown 3 better or bigger or dumber or whatever, but I feel like that's kind of Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
Like, if I want that, I'll go play Saints Row 4 again, which is a great game. But there's something about Crackdown that really, like, going through and doing all of these, I did a bunch of the agility races. Those are all really great, like double boosting and triple jumping, and that just all feels really great. And I don't feel like we get that out of really any other open world game.
No, we don't. And like, I will give credit where it's due. I don't know what they've done to the UE engine, because I'm pretty sure this is UE4. But my word is those controls are real responsive. The shooting isn't great, but do you want a slower cursor so you can shoot better, or do you want a faster cursor so you can jump better? Like, take your pick. I would rather have the faster jumping one. But
you're right. It is Unreal Engine 4.
I don't know what they've done. It feels really responsive, and it just feels good to play. And I do like the fact that, just like the old Crackdown games, they've given the agents the visible appearance change as they go. Because I was using the lady who got the 10% driving XP bonus. Hence why my driving is max and nothing else is right now.
Right.
And the 5% agility bonus. And watching the evolution of the suit as you go, and then the fact that that's the same suit they're wearing in the title screen. If you back out to the menu, they keep wearing their leveled up agent suit. My God, her legs are
just tree trunks.
They're a concrete foundation of pure joy. I was standing with a minigun, and my wife pointed this out. I was standing with a minigun, just unloading at the street. My entire upper body was shaking. My controller was vibrating across the room, and her legs were as solid as tree trunks. I have dubbed her Agent Thick because it's got that kind of look to it.
Right.
But I love the evolution. And now that my driving's maxed out, I've changed to somebody who has 5% agility XP bonus and 10% explosives, because that's what I need. So I will max out my agent, and then I will go back to my original, because that's the way it's meant to be done. And
that's your agent.
I'm loving this game. It's video game in its purest form. Where when you were a kid, you didn't care about what the shinobi was doing as he ran from left to right and threw shurikens at people's faces. You know, in Mario, it barely matters that there's a princess in the other castle.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters in those cases is you go left to right and you do it. In this game, there is a person on the top of the tower, the biggest tower that you need to kill. You get there by deconstructing everything else underneath her, and you do that by using skills for kills. Which is the dumbest tagline and the best tagline.
it fits Crackdown really well.
Yeah, it's such a perfect little explanation of that game in 3 words.
Yep.
This is the game. This is what you do. You do kills, you get skills. It's the purest form of dumb fun video gameness. And I love the tooltips and the loading screens, because there was a definitely Terry Crews inspired one which said, life tip, you're better than you think you are. That's it.
Great.
No in-game nothing, just you are better than you think you are.
Just a little positivity.
It's like, well, something tells me Terry Crews probably made sure that was in there. And
professional good guy Terry Crews.
Yeah. And the fact that one of the agents in the game is actually someone who developed it and passed away.
I had seen that on Twitter. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yep, the bald guy with the big bushy beard who looks really weirdly realistic when you compare him with everybody else except for Terry Crews.
Right.
He's the one.
Right.
So, I mean, good on them. As far as I'm concerned, they've made a good Crackdown game.
Yeah, it's a good video game.
Like, it might be short, it might be everything else, and all the other problems you want to throw at it, and you know what? That's fine. I would happily pay $60 for this. I'm not, because I'm a Game Pass member. But this is Crackdown 1 with a lot of the negativity taken out. And all of the skills have the secret level 6 thing. And the secret level 6 thing for the agility thing is a jetpack.
Oh my god. That's the best news of 2019.
I kind of want to spoil them all.
Sure.
Because the melee one, when you punch people, you cause an explosion.
Great. That's perfect. All this stuff is perfect.
And the firearms one, you get super high-powered bullets. So when you fire, it sends people flying.
Oh, man. They're all just so perfect for Crackdown.
And I unlocked the Vortex shotgun, which, by the way, is a force projectile shotgun.
Oh.
And my wife decided to push me off the top of a building, so my response was to jump up to the top of the building and then send her flying off the other side with a Vortex shotgun.
As one does.
Yes, because payback's a Vortex shotgun, I guess. I don't know. I can't finish that phrase on the show.
Yeah.
But it's fun picking up cars and throwing them into the sky. It's fun doing all the dumb stuff and just having a laugh. Spelled LARF, because that's how you're supposed to spell it. It's just a fun, dumb game, and I am perfectly fine with this Crackdown and the state it's in. To me, this is a 9 out of 10 game. To me, Alpha Protocol is a 9 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
Because
we actually spent a lot of time on We Roguelike It this week. It's episode 18. Talking about games that are hitting us at the right time. And I feel like potentially the next game we'll be talking about is hitting a lot of people at the wrong time. But I think Crackdown 3 is a game that is obviously not like a 10 out of 10. It's not the best game you've ever played. But I think for so many of us, it's hitting us at exactly the right time. And it's just fun enough and just dumb enough to just be exactly what we need in early 2019. And I think that's really great.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's 2019. Who doesn't want to go on a rampage against the corporations of the world who are literally oppressing everybody?
Right.
Like,
yeah, and I was talking to a friend of mine and friend of the show, Jimbo Jangles, this week, and I think I sort of broke through what I was thinking of with Crackdown, which is it's not going to be Game of the Year, and that's okay. And I think 2017 and 2018 have sort of ruined us for thinking like every game that comes out has to fight for the number one spot. Like it has to be like Spider-Man and God of War and all this other stuff. It has to be number one, or otherwise why did it even come out? And Crackdown's, like you said, Crackdown's just a really great game, and that's good enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's, like I said, the critics who apply their criticism against it are correct. It is the same game. It's Well, it's quote-unquote the same game, which is to say it has basically the exact same mechanics as Crackdown 1. It looks...
It's the same framework and all that.
Yeah, it looks better, it plays better, it feels better, there's so much about it that is better. HDR, by the way, thing of beauty.
Playing it with all those neons, I just keep thinking, like, man, if I had an X, HDR in this game would look real good.
Yeah, please don't kill me, ghosts.
Ooh, we love HDR too.
They are either very happy with my expression of Crackdown 3 or very unhappy.
Right. Maybe these are the troll ones where it's like, switch when? Ooh.
Yeah. Hashtag wait for the news.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, yeah, the people who are finding critiques with this game are fine and perfectly within their right to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I am okay with the fact that this game hasn't evolved because the last time we got a Crackdown was 10 years ago.
And Crackdown 2 was... I feel like Crackdown 3 is what Crackdown 2... Should have been.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's definitely... It's the same. It's a similar feeling to 1, but it's not the carbon copy of the city with a bunch of stupid stuff tacked onto it. And that's fine. Like, this is exactly what I needed at this time. And
what's so funny is, like, I feel like Crackdown 3 goes so far out of its way to give you a story justification for why you're on another island. I don't care, man.
Yeah.
Like, tell me it's a vacation. Like, what vacation gone wrong? Cool, Crackdown 4.
Yeah,
like, I don't really care.
I'm interested by the story, but it doesn't matter in the slightest to me.
No, yeah. I know this lady is bad and everyone underneath her is bad, so I'm going to take out all the bad people.
Mm-hmm. I was like, that's fine. The problems this game has gone through in development, I was not expecting much.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting a Saints Row 4. I wasn't expecting something to blow my socks off.
You weren't expecting The Witcher 3. Like, that's not going to happen.
The Witcher 3 wouldn't fit a Crackdown story. Imagine the serious, dour nature of The Witcher. It's like, let me meditate and get all this stuff and...
Let me take over this propaganda tower.
Oil my blades. And then stand up and jump 60 foot in the air.
If only I was faster at that agility challenge.
Exactly. So... It's absolutely fine that this is Crackdown 1 Evolved, because I don't have a problem with that. People waited 14 years for Kingdom Hearts 3, and they seem to be really happy with that, depending on who you talk to.
It's so funny you bring that up, because in the first 2 months of this year, we have had 2 games that have been hotly anticipated that are largely unchanged from their last outing 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Yeah. But one of them seems to get a whole bunch more flack than the other one has.
Yeah, well, Crackdown 3 doesn't have Donald Duck in it. I mean, Donald. That's the differentiator.
Donald, you went with Donald.
Who was I supposed to go with?
Goofy, man. Goofy is the real hero.
Goofy, yeah, okay.
He doesn't cause arguments. He keeps the team together. He's the one who speaks sense. Goofy is the hero. He doesn't vocabularize it well. He just speaks sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of garshes there, but he does stop arguments.
Yes. And my final game this week, we all know where this is going, folks, because this is the transition game, and this is the part where I get to say minor positive things, and then Boston takes that positive things, puts it on a bonfire, and then sets it on fire.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so my final game this week, Anthem.
Yes.
I have played about 5 hours of Anthem. That is it.
I've played like 7, maybe. So I'm around there.
Okay. So far, I am perfectly happy with this game.
Okay.
I don't mind. I like the city. There's a couple of characters I'm really connecting with already.
That stuff is really good. Fort Tarsis is cool.
Yes.
It's a cool place to be.
Owen is hilarious in all of the best.
I feel exactly the opposite.
Oh, are you the opposite?
I hate Owen so much. Part of my problem is I feel like most people that are speaking in this game are trying to do a vocal race, and Owen is the worst. Where it's this it's like somebody that's in a 1950s movie where they're trying to get through the script as fast as possible, and there's no. We often have the opposite problem in video games, where someone will say like, "That's right,
it's the Kingdom Hearts 3 problem."
Yeah, it'll be like
Sora.
3-second pauses, and your freelancer will be like, "That's right," but instead. There's no natural pause between. The voice actor for Owen is fine. I'm a little sick of like the plucky British sidekick, because I feel like that's often overdone. I think did you pick male or female freelancer?
I picked male.
The female freelancer voice actor is really great. I'm gonna have to look up who it is.
Okay, my wife went with female.
Yeah, it's really great.
The thing I will defend in Owen's case here is I've done a fair bit of talking to him, and you get the distinct impression that maybe he's got a touch of ADHD there somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bravado there. Like, there's a lot of false bravado with him.
Yeah, I did love his intro where he's like saying to the woman that there's a problem with the chair. He's like, no, there isn't.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't. I just like I like causing trouble.
Sarah Emily is the female protagonist.
Okay. While we're on the subject of voice actors, did you catch Louise Belcher?
Yes. I also forgot that Catherine Tate is in the game as well.
I was about to say, did you catch Donna Noble?
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of really good voice actors in there. There's a lot of I hit the big cutscene with Princess whatever her name is. I don't know if you've gotten up to that point.
Nope.
A lot of good performance capture there. A lot of really good. Some of the texture work on some of the people seem uneven every once in a while, but voice acting across the board is really good. Performance capture is really good. Facial animation feels pretty good most of the time. There's a couple characters where it's like, that's a little played up a little bit much, but I think that stuff is largely really good.
Yeah, I do feel like they made a lap around the UK to see how many different accents they could fit in.
Right.
Because you've got the Welsh guy who's lucky, you've got the Scottish lady who fixes your stuff, you've got Donna Noble who is kind of Cockney. You know, it's weird hearing the variety of accents in there.
Yep.
Hashtag no Scousers yet. I'm watching and listening.
Yeah.
They would need to automatically have subtitles on if they did have Scousers in there, though.
Right.
So, I like the fort.
Yes.
When it comes to the suits, the javelins, I have only just unlocked my second one.
Me too.
What did you start with?
I started with whichever one the Ryu one is, like the
ninja?
Interceptor?
The ninja looking one. Fast movements and melee attacks.
No, that's that's Interceptor. I picked, so it's Interceptor, Storm, Colossus, and Ranger, I think is the last one.
Yeah, Ranger, Strider, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked that one because I thought, well, it seems to be the jack of all trades. It'll get me through the early stuff where I don't need that. I recently picked up my second one is Storm because I heard that one is really fun to play.
We literally went inverse. I started Storm and my second one was the default one.
Okay, Colossus will be my last one because that's not a role I enjoy playing.
You're not a chunky fan.
I'm not. I'm not a professional big boy. So I don't need the shield and the tankiness, but yeah, I think if there's anything that sets this game apart from other games in this subgenre,
the Schlooters,
the loot shooter.
No, Schlooters. Alex Navarro has dictated Schlooters.
I feel like each one of those javelins looks so cool.
Yep. I love the fact that you can change the textures on all of the different parts.
The customization is probably where I've spent like an hour of my game time where it's like, oh, how does that look with this? No, that doesn't. How does this vinyl look on? Oh, that'll go well with this color, and sort of like, oh, okay, cool.
I am totally debating at some point spending the coin to get the N7.
It looks really good.
Thing. Check it out on the Storm.
Oh, no.
Because on the Storm, the stripe doesn't go down the arm because that's where their powers are. It goes down the cloak on the back.
Oh no, I'm gonna buy that.
And it looks so cool.
And so far, to anybody who's worried about the microtransaction stuff, so far it's cosmetic stuff and emotes and textures for your javelin, and it seems like obviously we haven't gotten to the end game, but it seems like there are enough methods to generating coin in the game by doing the weekly and the daily and the monthly stuff that without getting there yet, it seems like that won't be a problem.
And you get a bonus coin every week based on how many of your friends are currently playing Anthem.
That's true. Yeah.
Even though alliances aren't in right now, it's basically just a friend bonus. And right now, I think my friend bonus is like 5,000 coins waiting for the end of the week to show up. It's like,
that's pretty good amount. Yeah,
it's like, okay, I spent almost that amount getting the weird bow for the storm, so
I got that one too.
So yeah, the game looks beautiful. I mean,
yeah,
HDR works now on the Xbox One. That's fine. Whatever. Even before that,
same with PS4.
The game looks beautiful. I don't know if there is a photo mode in this.
I don't believe so.
Because, oh boy, am I just wanting to take some screenshots of like dust motes in light shafts and everything else.
I'd love to do that in free roam.
Yes.
Like, if it's not available in strongholds or missions, I could understand that. If I could do it in free roam, that'd be really great.
Yeah. So, I don't mind the guns. I like the way they feel. Certain guns I think feel better than others. Like,
yes.
The Storm has access to the heavy pistol, which I do not like. I don't like the heavy pistol at all.
Is that just the one shot?
Yeah,
I've tried that and they seem fine.
I quite like the machine pistol.
The 3-burst one?
No, just a regular old machine pistol. Fires like an SMG.
Okay.
I've mostly been using the DMR, the battle rifle, so designated DMR kind of rifle where it's a single shot mid to long range rifle.
What are they called? Because I bought the Legion of Dawn edition, the like extra $20 edition, and it came with 2 legendary, the highest tier items. One is like a class item, it's fine. The other one is a legendary version of that type of gun. What do they call it? Like a scout?
Scout rifle, yes.
Yeah, in Destiny it's called a scout rifle. It's the single shot, long range sort of thing. Those feel pretty good.
Yes.
I kind of dig those because they start you out with an assault rifle, which is an auto rifle in Destiny parlance.
It feels a little pea-shootery.
Yeah, I don't feel like it has the impact behind it, which it's not going to have a lot of because it's an AR, but it just didn't feel like... It felt like the enemies were a little bit too much, like soaking up the damage too much with one of those weapons.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning, by the way, so far I have played this game with a group of 4.
Oh, okay.
A group of 2. And then free roam by myself, because I just wanted to explore the free roam a little bit. But when I started the game, I played it with my wife, T-Bomb, and Brain Eater from the community. Then I did a couple of missions with just me and my wife. Medium difficulty is way too easy for a group of 4.
Yeah.
Bump it up to hard, minimally.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm kind of actually enjoying this game. There are some minor issues I have with the game. The difficulty being a little easy is one of them. I love the skills. I picked the Storm. Like, that was my starter, and the special abilities on that thing are both incredibly flashy and incredible looking, because it's like, here's ice, lightning, and fire effects with HDR in 4K, because why not?
I am not going to be the first person to say it, and I will not stop harping on this. The game really needs to explain combos with primers and detonators and all that stuff. And if I'm saying that to anybody who's playing Anthem and that doesn't make any sense, you need to go look it up, because it strengthens your skills incredibly. And the game doesn't explain it except for in the codex. I mean, the cortex.
Yep.
And what explanation is in there is really bad.
Yep. To the point where I froze a bunch of people, my wife did a fire thing, and then all of a sudden everyone turned into acid gibs. It was hilarious and amazing.
It's so good.
Things I don't like, get out the way. Why do you have a lore that is so heavily routed in text format in a multiplayer game? I want to sit there and read all of that stuff. I am not going to do that while 3 people are waiting for me to start a mission.
Yeah, I feel like that's like farting around Fort Tarsus and reading some of that stuff. So one of the things they should be doing is, instead of, let's get it out of the way, load times are long.
Yes, they are.
And the load screens are boring. The Cortex stuff should have been on the loading screens.
Yep, definitely.
There's no reason not to. And one of the bigger problem I have with the Codex is I'm getting unlockable Codex entry notices in cutscenes, and I can't read them there. I know there's like a most recently seen section, but I'm not going to remember to go in there to do it. And it's the same problem that Destiny 1 had, is you need to tell more of your story in the game. You can't just say, here's a very serious intro about the Anthem of creation and the Calicephony or whatever the hell that thing is called, and striders and javelins. You know, I don't know about any of that. Like, there's not. I feel like Anthem needs to rely on a story a little bit more. I think it can get away with a little bit more, even though it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's not super working.
Yeah, and the most disappointing thing about that, specifically the loading screen thing, is some touches I really love. Like, you talk to somebody, they give you a quest. It's a 3-page thing that you can read while they are talking. The first page is the quest details. The second page is a piece of lore. And the third page is information about the type of the class of person you're dealing with, or the class of person or object that you're going to go and find.
Right, like a sentinel or like a shaper relic or stuff like that.
And it's 3 sets of information, all to do with the one quest that you can read while they're talking to you, and you're absorbing the information at that time.
Ooh, ready up for the quest.
Yes. So that's a really good touch. I really like that. Put that on the load screen, because the load screens are so long, it's ridiculous. And
it's, you know, I've been playing Anthem and Destiny 2 sort of at the same time. Destiny 2's load screens are also fairly long, but you got your ships flying through space, and there's at least something to look at instead of concept art that's sort of been blocked out. Like, that's not super exciting. And additionally, one of my largest problems is in Destiny 2, you can manage your inventory when you're flying somewhere. In Anthem, you can only do it at the one place.
When did they start that? Because last time I played Destiny 2, which granted was a long time ago, that was loading screens were just like they were in Anthem, where it's like, here's a loading screen, deal with it.
That was launch. That's been since Destiny 1 launch.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But I think there are 2 large gear sins that are committed in Anthem. One is you can only manage your gear and your loadout at the Forge. With the loading times as they are, that really sucks if you like go out in a free roam and you find free play, and you find like you don't like the machine pistol. Well, gotta spend a whole lot of loading time to get back to the Forge to switch that out for something.
Yeah.
Other thing is there's no character sheet. To me, this is like a mortal sin for gear-based games. I cannot see my overall gear stat. Like, 3 pieces are giving me lower, L1 gears. Oh my god. So they called your abilities gear, which is terrible, because you also have gear score, which is the overall power for all of the equipment you have equipped. It's
I think that they might only be called gear on that specific javelin.
Okay.
Because I think
they're called other stuff on other things.
On the Storm, I'm assuming we're talking about the left bumper, melee, right bumper things.
Yep.
On the Storm, I'm pretty sure they're called something else. They're called like focal points or something on the Storm.
Oh, okay. That would make it a little bit better. But like, there's so much gear stuff in this game that to me, there's so much stuff in Anthem that feels old. That hasn't followed where the loot shooter subgenre has gone. And like not having a character sheet, only having one place to swap your gear, and not having really clear stuff about here's what this percentage does it do it to your character or your weapon or your skills or stuff like that. That stuff being really really vague is for me is a real big sticking point.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think this is where the biggest demarcation of likes and dislikes is probably going to come from, is because when I played Destiny, I didn't get to the point where gear mattered. I got new stuff. It made my number go higher. Great. Right now in Anthem, I'm playing it the exact same way. I get new stuff. It makes my number go higher. That's fine.
Right. Is it green instead of white? Cool. I'll use that.
Exactly. That's where I'm at right now. I think the question for me will maintain. When I get to the end of this game, am I going to stop playing it, or is it going to have stuff there for me to continue playing it?
Right, what does the loop look like?
Yeah, because right now I don't know. Right now I'm just enjoying being in the world. I'm enjoying the video game aspects of it, which is to say, I'm enjoying being in that environment, in those javelins, in that world with those people and learning it. Like, I want to load up the game and just go through the Cortex and read the whole thing because this world is genuinely interesting to me. I want to know about these Shaper relics. I want to know about these giant underground things that destroy the world. How many cities are left? You know, all this kind of stuff I want to know. But that's going to get me so far.
Right.
When I get to the end, am I going to get my achievements and then stop? Or am I going to do that and uninstall it? Or am I going to do that and wait for the next piece of content?
Right.
Like, that's where I'm at right now. I'm not a reviewer. I don't have to sit down and play this game for 40 hours to try and get to the end game as quick as possible.
40 hours in a week.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't have to do that. And I'm kind of deliberately choosing not to do that unless something really grabs me. Resident Evil 2, I probably put 60 hours into it over the course of a week and a half because that game was genuinely fantastic to play. And it's not that this is not fun to play for me. It's more a case of I'm dipping my toes in and then dipping my toes out. Dipping in, dipping out. And I've only played it twice. It came out on Friday. So I played it a little bit on Friday night. I played it a little bit yesterday. And then Crackdown 3 happened.
Right.
You know, so for me, the big thing for me is I have not played enough of these loot games, these schlooters, to be up on time with the parlance. Like, I don't know what the latest hotness is and all these things. So I've probably got a bit more patience with this game than someone like you would have, because you have been there from the Destiny 1 days all the way through to the disappointment of Destiny 2 and seeing them make the same mistakes again and then seeing them fix those mistakes as Destiny 2 has evolved. Right. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, Destiny 2 is still not perfect to this day, but they have made improvements as they go.
It's in a really good spot. Yeah. And I think Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 and The Division 1 making their mistakes and Anthem making very similar ones, to me, is one of the biggest issues. For Anthem to not learn from what especially Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 has done, to me, is just baffling. I think from my perspective, if this was a Ubisoft studio, if this was an Activision Blizzard studio, I would probably feel the same. But this is BioWare,
And this is kind of their first shot at making this kind of game, so I have a little bit more patience with them for that. And I'm not saying you're not right, because you are right. The whole thing with video games is you look at what the other people are doing and then you improve upon that to make your thing. That's how Blizzard became one of the biggest names in the industry, is they took a genre and perfected it. That's Blizzard's MO for how many years now? Like, they take something, they refine it to the point of perfection, and then they release it. And they have done well for themselves in that particular model. This feels like this is a bunch of people trying this out for the first time, and I think they've got some really good ideas. Like I said, I love the lore. I think the javelins is a fantastic idea. The fact that it's 4 different suits in the same character kind of thing.
Yeah, that's one of the big things. I was talking to...
Probably T-Bomb.
Yeah, I think it was T-Bomb yesterday, where I think if Anthem does very little right, and I think one thing it does right is that it avoids the problem that Destiny runs into, where Destiny, you have 3 separate characters. You should be playing Destiny as 3 separate classes. Don't be stupid, people. But you're replaying content 3 times. And for some people, that's fine. And for other people, that's a large burden. And that's understandable. And I think what I really like about Anthem is you have your character, and that's your one character, freelancer, which is not great. And you have the 4 classes at that point that you can then interchange with your single character. I think that's a really smart choice.
Yeah, and honestly, my verdict is still out on this. Like, I know my wife is not feeling it right now. I know there's some members of the community who are, some members who aren't, and that's fine. This is... Like it or not, this is a games as a service game. This is what this is meant to be. It will.
They've never shied away from that,
and it will evolve with time, I hope. But at the same time, this is also EA, who have no problem shutting something down entirely if it doesn't get positive feedback. I give you Andromeda's DLC.
Well, and I feel like BioWare have done a really good job of laying out their roadmap really early. Like, the game came out on Friday, and alongside it they say, hey, for the next 3 months or so, here's a roadmap. We're keeping some of the stuff secret, but here's where some of the stuff is going.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, if I really get into Anthem, I will be following that the same way you do with the Destiny stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, I also have someone in this household who has picked up a different Schluter that comes out in 2 weeks.
The Division 2?
Yes.
I'm really curious to see what the Division 2 does.
Me too, because we've talked about this with We Roguelike It a lot. The Division 1 is an amazing groundwork. Yeah. And the things they did to that game between the release and still to this day, the things they've done to that game are truly astounding and supportive in a way only Ubisoft seems to be these days.
Right.
And I want to see what they do for the Division 2. I want to see what steps they have taken. Are they going to Destiny 1 it, or are they going to Mass Effect 2 it?
Well, and unlike BioWare, have they learned from the mistakes of the genre? Because Anthem is making mistakes that even Borderlands solved. Like, it's baffling, and I think if the Division 2 can come out really strong, I think they can take a lot of that player base away from Anthem.
Oh yeah, I think Anthem has its work cut out for it, and they very much need to take the Fortnite approach: fast, quick iterations, get stuff done, get stuff changed, get stuff more. Honestly, they've got a roadmap, and that's good. The faster they can put content into that game, the better. The faster they can make changes that will make people happy is better. But at the same time, they need to stick to their ideals. They need to stick to what they want to do. Like I said, from your perspective, I understand. You've gone through this whole cycle with D1, D2, maybe a little with the Division, but not a whole lot. But you've been in the long haul of this for, what, 8 years now.
Destiny 1 came out 5 years ago.
Okay, so you've been in this cycle for 5 years.
Yeah.
You have seen...
Well, plus Diablo 3.
Well, yeah.
And maybe all the way back to the first Diablo. But
yeah. But, I mean, Diablo 3 was its own special kind of hell.
Yes.
Because the whole real money...
For everyone involved.
Yes. But, you've been in that loop for so long. I haven't. So I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about bugs, which I haven't seen. I'm seeing issues, which...
God, I'm running into so many bugs.
Honestly, the biggest difference, I think, between the pair of us is I've run into one bug, which is if I choose to redeem my Twitch Prime stuff, or whatever it is, it crashes the game.
Interesting.
Or what's going on in the world, or whatever. Basically, it's like their news thing on the main menu. If I try and launch that, it crashes the game.
Okay.
Which Apex did the exact same thing, which makes me laugh.
Yeah. Do you have some sort of problem with the web browser on your Xbox?
Probably, yes.
It opens up a web browser. That's the problem.
Okay. So that's the only bug I've run into. Like, I haven't run into any mission bugs. I haven't run into any drop bugs, nothing like that.
To be fair, I haven't run into mission bugs. I'm running into a lot of bugs with my guns, like the special edition gun that they give you. I can actually fire it to the point where it gets under, like, the ammo count will say -3 in the clip, and then I will reload. It will cancel, shoot a bunch of bullets, and then fully reload then. So I'm missing a whole bunch of time where I could be shooting enemies. Free roam drives me nuts when you...
that needs a lot of work. Like, a lot of work.
I think free roam largely is fine. That's the most fun I've had in this game by far.
Oh, I went flying around and like seeing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it was great, but that map is not marked at all. And
no, the map you need to be able to specify waypoints. You need to specify pings. You need to see a better display for your players. But
you need to see world events. Like, that's a Destiny 2
Yeah, world
lesson.
events would be really great. It needs more people in free roam. I will launch in there and I will be doing a world event solo, and somebody is dead like halfway across the map, and that's not that fun. One of my larger bugs I'm running into now is I will go, and I have issues with the controls, but I'm not going to get into it here. When I go and collect materials, it switches my weapon because both of them are on hold square.
Okay, I don't know if I've got that one. I've definitely collected materials, but I'll have to have a look and see if that happens.
Yeah, it's not fun when I'm expecting to do some long-range stuff and then I'm not firing. Number one, firing the wrong gun, or number two, not firing a gun because somehow I'm not holding a gun anymore. Yeah. Have you done either your first stronghold, or have you hit the brick wall mission?
No to either.
Okay. So
I did see your tweet about the stronghold, which made me giggle.
I'm fighting on whether or not I'm going to go back to Anthem because of both of these things hitting at the same time. Around level 9 or 10, it gives you your first stronghold. And I thought, well, let's go in. And I matched into a normal stronghold, was getting one-shotted like crazy.
Oh, wow.
And all four of us were together. And one of my larger problems on this game is you're down screen sucks.
Yep.
It's one of the worst I've seen in a video game in a really long time. And if you're like me and you're playing solo, and I still drives me crazy that they have VoIP opt out. Just the number of times I've been in quests where people are just have their TV too loud, or they're complaining about us and they don't think their mic is open. That stuff is really rough.
Yeah.
That stronghold. The thing with the stronghold too is I don't know, was I under-leveled? Because my gear score is like 70, was like 75 or something. It's like 80 something this morning. Was I under-leveled? Was I the wrong class? Like, there was no information for me about, like, comparing it to Destiny. When you get killed by something in Destiny, it says recommended light blah.
Yeah.
And it's like 390, and you're like, oh, well, I'm 290. Like, yeah. I should not be doing this at all. there was none of that feedback. It was just, hey, that sniper 400 yards away hit you once and got rid of your shields and your health. And now it's taking my party members 10 or 15 minutes to get me back up.
Yeah.
That's not fun at all. And I can't even spectate what they're doing.
I will admit, I think any of these, that issue specifically for me is alleviated by the fact that I've been playing it with community members and my wife.
Right.
And that's not on you. They need a better system. They need a better system to, number one, tell people that you are down.
Yep.
And number two, have some way for you to see if they're actually coming to help you or not. And they need a respawn capability.
If they had a respawn, even if I respawned like all the way back, and it would do that dumb like get back into the mission thing, 25 seconds, that would be fine. The thing is, I can't do anything. The music is gone. Most of the sound effects are gone. It's it's muffled. It's just most of the time I'm just pulling out my phone and just waiting for someone to come and get me, and that's not what I want to do. I want to. Even if I have to do like a corpse run, I'd rather do that than look at Twitter while other people are having fun fighting.
Yeah.
The other big frustration point is I didn't think the brick wall mission would come so early.
Is this the one that Jeffrey G was complaining about?
Probably. So BioWare does this all the time. Most recently they did it in Dragon Age Inquisition, where it's like, cool, you're doing great. Your influence needs to be way higher to take on the final boss. They always have a history of doing this. And early on, they give you 4 missions. If you go to Cortex, you go to challenges, something, and then free roam. And
there's like the 4 challenges of the Legion thing, where it's like, collect these number of chests, do this number of stuff.
And there's like 4 sets of them.
Mm-hmm.
The brick wall is basically like, hey, you're doing really great. But you need to do all 4 of these before you can do anything in the mission, in the story. So go do free roam. And it's like, I had been doing free roam in between every couple of missions just to make progress on this. And I had not yet made enough progress until I hit this brick wall. And I hadn't finished one of them yet.
I did happen to check that. It's like the legend of
Tomb of the whatever.
Yeah, like the legend of the name. And it's like a name of a person.
Yep.
It's like the Legion challenges or whatever they're called.
Yep. Yeah, Legionnaire challenges or something like that. Yeah.
I can't help but wonder if this is another bug, because 2 of them I am already at 3 out of 4 complete, and I've barely touched the free roam.
And some of them aren't that crazy. Mm-hmm. Like some of them are 50 melee kills. All right, if you're playing a melee thing or you're meleeing every once in a while a combo, you're probably doing that anyway. There's like get 50 kills with guns. You're going to get that real early. There's some that are just revive downed javelins.
Yeah.
3 of them. That's easy. You're going to do that. But there's some of them that's like get 50 combos. If you don't know how to do that, that's a problem. Pick up 15 chests. You do that in free roam, or you do that in strongholds. Find 10 hidden things in the world. You can only do that in free roam. You just have to spend time.
Yeah.
I don't inherently have a problem with that. I'm frustrated that it came so early, and it doesn't seem like I have any real immediate options to go do contracts instead of free roam.
Yeah.
And I like free roam. It's just, I'd rather be doing a mission to get some of the reputation up or getting some different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between the 2 of those, Anthem has a long way to go for me to be a good game in this subgenre, to be clear. And I think they can get there. I don't like how a lot of the shooting works. I don't like a lot of the movement. I don't like it being third person. Like there's some foundational stuff about the game that I don't prefer.
Yeah.
But I think there is some stuff in this game that's cool. I think Fort Tarsis is cool. I don't think the landing bay, the loading bay, whatever that social place is.
I haven't even been there yet.
I don't think it's fine. I just don't think that's what the game needs right now. I think there's some stuff I don't really care about the lore, but I think a lot of it is really well written. I think it has a long way to go, and I think it needed more time in the oven. But that being said, I don't know what the end game is going to be. I could get there, and I could get to level 30 and say, oh, well, I like this loop that they have for the end game, and that's what keeps me coming back, like whenever reset is. But,
Yeah.
As of right now, this game is really rough.
Yeah. And understandable. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll keep playing it. We'll see how I feel in a couple of weeks. Like,
Yeah, I'll play it until I've finished it, at the very least.
yeah.
It's tough. Winemaker Joe in chat says, not sure if I can say for the whole cast, but quick questions. What are acceptable load times and why? Does the type of game make a difference in how long of a load screen you are willing to accept?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. I don't mind loading screens. I mean, they're a necessary evil, but I mean, part of why Mass Effect 1's...
They're a necessary evil unless you play on the N64.
That's true. I feel like part of the reason to go to another BioWare game, Mass Effect 1's elevators were so hated is because you can't do anything. You can't go in the menu and read the codex. You can't walk around. You can't... The same thing with Anthem. You're looking at the same 3 or 4 pieces of concept art, and I can't go read the codex. I can't go do something cool with my gear and like start breaking down gear in my vault or anything like that. Like, to me, there's nothing you can do, and that's what makes loading screens like this really rough, especially if you're in a party where it's 4 of you just saying like, okay, we're just sitting here talking for 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. Type of game makes a difference because
Yeah.
I know certain somebody on the podcast is not a fan of Rockstar games. But the fact that they have one load screen and that is it, that is fine. I don't mind having to wait through a 5-minute load screen when I first kick up a game because guess what?
Right.
I'm going to hit that button. I'm going to walk to the kitchen and make myself a cup of tea.
And you're going to play for like 2 hours on that 5-minute. Yeah.
Exactly.
And same with Anthem's free roam. There's a long load for an open world, and then after that, there aren't any. And if you're going to stay in free roam or free play for a while, that's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But loading into that for a mission that takes like 10 minutes to go through, that's where it gets frustrating. That imbalance between the load and the content length.
Yeah. I can't help but feel it's the load screen, the loading times suffer because of how beautiful the game is. Because
Sure, yeah.
It's kind of a gorgeous game.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Frostbite makes really great looking games. That's a good engine.
Yeah. Just, tighten up the load screen on level 2.
Oh, right. Yeah. Anything else about Anthem?
No, that's it. I'm going to keep on chucking away at it.
Keep on keeping on?
Yeah. Between collecting orbs and smashing some fools, I'll probably be javelining around a little bit.
Yeah. On the total opposite end of the spectrum, I've been playing a lot of Microsoft Solitaire.
Of course.
They just came out with a big patch that I was interested in because it sounds crazy. They added experience bars and leveling.
Yep, they did. Why?
And I thought,
who told you about this? Who told you?
The patch notes did, because there was a patch on my phone. There's a patch for Solitaire, and I was like, "What are you adding to Solitaire?" They said introducing experience and leveling. I was like, "Well, let's see what this is." And thankfully, it's fairly ignorable. You get more experience depending on how hard the deck is that you choose. And all you really seem to get are like card backs and themes.
Yeah.
For leveling. And that's really it.
But dude, it's bars. It's bars.
Yeah, to me, I think the only thing this really did was remind me I should go in and play the daily challenges, because those are really fun. And I've been doing those before I go to bed, and that's what Solitaire should be on your phone. It's 5 new challenges, and hey, remember, Spider and Free Cell are really fun, and here are some challenges.
I still don't know how to play Spider or Free Cell.
The game, actually, what I like about Microsoft Solitaire is I feel like they have really great tutorials in there for each one of the modes. And even because I didn't remember how to play, it wasn't Pyramids, it was the other one. I didn't remember how to play one of the modes when I came back in. Went on, turned the tutorial back on that mode. First card, there's like 13, individual messages. First one said, combine 2 cards to make up 13 points. That removes the cards from the board. It's like, oh, right, okay, yes, gotcha. All right, now I can get rid of this tutorial now, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, shockingly, Solitaire, still a good game in 2019. A little bit about Destiny 2. I've been playing a lot of the early content because TVGP alumnus the Hannah recently purchased it. Not because I was pressuring him or anything.
No, not at all.
Whoops.
I saw you tweeting a bunch of images of, look at this price for Destiny 2. Look at that price for Destiny 2.
Hey, man, when Destiny 2's Forsaken Plus annual pass goes on sale for $40, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good deal.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw you tweet that, and I was tempted. I avoided the temptation, but I was definitely tempted.
So we've been playing some of the early stuff, which has been fun to go back to, because I haven't played much of that stuff in general. And if I do, it's like part of the daily mission, so I'm skipping the intro cutscene, running through it in literally a minute and a half, and then skipping the outro cutscene. So that's been pretty fun. Also, shout out to Slick Nick from the community. We've been doing some of the really tough end game stuff recently, mostly with just the 2 of us, which has been kind of fun. We over the last couple of days have been going through the Shattered Throne. That's that 3-man almost mini raid that they put in, but we've been doing it with just the 2 of us. Over the last couple of days, we've gotten all the way to the last boss, and I had to leave to record this morning, so we couldn't finish. We were getting our strategies down. We were getting pretty close. So I think we'll have that pretty... if we had a third person, that'd be really easy. We would just knock it out pretty quickly. But it's kind of fun that it's just the 2 of us, and I feel like we're both on the same skill level. So I feel like that's been really fun to just say, this stuff's really tough. Let's just give it a shot and try it. And we're doing pretty well. And the new season of Destiny starts on March 5th.
So good luck with that. Bye-bye, Boston.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other bad part about Anthem is the sunk cost fallacy is hard in Destiny 2 because I'm way deep into that, and they're going to come out with more stuff just about the right time. So, sorry. And last but not least, there's another Dead or Alive 6 online demo that just came out. I didn't get a chance to play the previous one. Mm-hmm. I think it was only like a character or 2. This one has 25 characters in it.
Oh boy.
So I thought, this is probably the one to try. It has all the characters I have loved, and there's some ones that I think they introduced in DOA 5 and patched in a DOA 5. So there's some I don't really know. This game, DOA 6 looks really good. I really like, Team Ninja has been coming out and talking a lot about, we're changing how the DOA characters look.
Mm-hmm. And how
it's
they
gonna
move.
Look more, yeah, how they move. And I think I really like what they've done to the characters because they look different in a weird way. I don't know how to describe it, except they look a little bit more mature, maybe. There's something less cartoony about them. Old DOA games always had a little bit of cartooniness to them.
Less
sort of for
caricature, shall we say?
Yeah, and they've definitely decreased the bouncing physics. Blech. That's never been a great part of DOA. I hate to burst anybody's bubble. So that stuff feels really good. The online fighting, I played a handful of matches. All of them felt really great. I don't have my fingers down to counter anymore. I got to relearn that.
Yeah.
Really great tutorial system in this again. There's an overall tutorial system, and then there's a set for each individual character to teach you their moves.
Yep.
Which is really great. And I just read a news story that apparently it has a whole single player quest mode in it, which makes me really want to buy this game. I didn't play DOA 5. I never really got around to playing it, and I wish I had more people that played fighting games in general, because I feel like picking up DOA 6 and playing it every once in a while could be pretty fun.
Yeah, are you feeling the itch?
Yeah, I after playing it, sort of like, yeah, man, DOA those are still really great fighting games, and they haven't really lost their touch. They just keep adding more and more characters and more stuff to it, but they never really mess with the core fighting. That stuff still feels really good. And I think that to me is a really great selling point. But yeah, I played that for a little bit last night, and that felt really good. And we've been recording for a really long time, so let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of February 25th, 2019.
There is none. I don't need to spend any more money. Thank you.
That's right. Moving on to news stories. Dirt Rally 2.0 comes out, PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
I love the fact that they rebooted this series and just call it 2 again.
Yeah, like, I would love to play this game, but I sort of feel like Forza Horizon 4, I got all my racing needs out for like the next 6 months.
Oh, the next 18 months when the next Forza Horizon comes out.
It's true. Like clockwork. I don't know. I could be really interested in Forza 8 as long as they take all the loot boxes out on launch. I know they have already by now, but I'm not rewarding them for that.
Yep.
Plus, there's probably like 5,000 cars in Forza 7 right now, and I don't want to keep track of all that. I don't know anything about cars.
Nope.
That's why I like Horizon.
Here's what I know about cars. I like a Subaru. I like a Nissan. Specifically because they're the off-road legends of the past.
Right.
My wife is obsessed with minis.
Okay.
There we go. That's the end of it.
There you go. 3 cars. That's all you need. For Horizon, all you really need is 1 now. So that's a bummer. Trials Rising might be coming out this week for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Showed back up on the release cycle for reasons I don't know.
Yeah, should we also mention the co-op mode in that?
I did not know about that.
Yes, Trials Rising has a co-op mode where...
Interesting.
2 people are on a bike at the same time.
Awesome.
And the lean and the tilt is controlled by both people at the same time.
Great.
So if me and you were playing it and you lean forwards and I lean back, it does nothing.
That's the kind of stupid that I would enjoy watching a YouTube highlight reel of.
As much as I don't like him, I will give Gavin Free his props from over at Rooster Teeth / Achievement Hunter. He is real good at trials, and so is Jack over there. And they both have co-op videos planned, and they kind of don't get along. So
that would be really good then.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to seeing highlights of that in 20 years when I catch up with all my other video content.
Yeah. Stellaris Console Edition coming out for PS4 and Xbox One.
What is Stellaris?
Yeah, I tried to go look at that, and the description of it is the grand 4X game comes to consoles. And I was like, okay, it's a 4X game, which means it's a genre I know next to nothing about, and I know I would love. So I'm hoping this reviews well.
Fingers crossed it does. Also, that's the best Trials title possible in chat.
Trials Divorce Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also it's in the same vein of the Mario Party series. Just Louise moving on it. And last but not least, Dead or Alive 6 comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, which I didn't realize was like right around the corner.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I gotta put that on the old wish list on PS prices and wait for that one, along with Stellaris, because I feel like I could dig a 4X game if I could have one that would give me a tutorial.
And if it controls well.
Yeah, I feel like 4X games are fine because they're almost all keyboard and mouse. But
yeah, but I'm not interested in playing it on my PC. That's the problem.
That's also been my problem is let's tuck in for 200 hours. And it's like, well,
you better have a real comfy chair.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories. I ran out of time to pull news stories out and put them in the proper list here, so let's just sort of do it live. Whatever. Valve removes the video section from the Steam store.
Oh no, what a shame they're cleaning up their store, thank goodness.
I'm surprised at how many people have said Valve sells movies, which is probably why they're pulling the video store. This was actually not terrible. They usually had pretty good sales on their movies. It's just you needed to play it out of Steam, which never really got anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Indie Game the movie was first released on Steam, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
And that's fine. Good for them. It's there. Whatever. Fine. Get rid of your video section. Now, hire a bunch of people and maybe we'll call them editors. And maybe we'll have them edit your store to only have real games in. Thank you. Moving on.
God, we've tried nothing and nothing works. Next news story, Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé is now going to step down after 16 years. April 15th will be, the Ides of April will be his final day. It'll be followed up by the person that everyone has forgotten that Nintendo hired, which is Doug Bowser.
Which, great picture. With Mario and Luigi tied up behind him. Fantastic job on that branding. Let's just pour one out for the homie. Let's say thank you, Reggie.
Reggie did a really great job at making that position and making Nintendo interesting.
Yes. And not to be put lightly, but he is a 15-foot monster person of color in charge of the American division of a Japanese company.
Right.
And nobody has come across as good in any form of press conference or display or anything compared to Reggie. I think Spency's getting there, but Reggie has been number one. That's the guy you want to see on stage. He was comfortable. Like, he felt natural being up there and selling stuff, but I felt like he never came across as a used car salesman. Like, sometimes that stuff can come across as. And I always thought he did great, and he sort of had fun with it. And I think what you're seeing now with people like Phil Spencer and Skype dying on us again, and a lot of people that are now starting to come up in Microsoft is you're seeing people that like games and have games they love, and Reggie very clearly had that. Like, he had his favorite characters in Smash. He liked doing, he carried a Game Boy Micro with him, and he had a game he liked. The fact that he got on stage and sold the Game Boy Micro to an audience of people,
right?
I'm not. 17 foot is a bit hyperbolic, but that dude is a giant of a man.
He's a big dude, yeah.
And the fact that he's got this Game Boy Micro, which is about the same size as his little finger,
right?
And he makes you want that product because he loves the product so much, because he, like you said, he's a fan, and he is leaving to retire with no bad blood, no smear campaign, no allegations against him.
No one's calling for his head and being like, thank God he's leaving. It's like, Reggie, no.
Come on, let's face it. If Bobby Kotick announced he was resigning as head of Activision Blizzard tomorrow, there would be parties in the streets.
Yeah, I feel like Mardi Gras.
Reggie announces he's retiring, and people are genuinely upset because he is a human representative of that company, and he is so likable.
Yeah.
Like, God love you, Reggie.
It'll be interesting to see what Bowser does when he starts showing up on, when he starts showing up at, on Nintendo Directs and stuff. Because it's, obviously he seems to have a good sense of humor about his name, which I'm sure will be probably part of his first Nintendo Direct, which I sort of hope lean into it and just get it over with and have fun. And then
honestly, he needs to come out in the costume. He needs to get
but a bad costume.
like a bad one, but like a
something you get
costume.
at Party City.
Yeah. Where they can't call it by the official name, so instead it's like Plumber
King
instead
Dragon.
of Mario. Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to have that be
really
like his first Nintendo Direct is welcome to the Nintendo Direct. I'm Bowser.
Right. Rah. Yeah, that'd be really good. Last news story this week is a big rumor that seems to be gaining some steam. Originally reported on by Direct Feed Games and backed up by sources for Game Informer. Rumor is that Xbox Game Pass will be headed to Nintendo Switch.
Oh boy.
I feel like you and I have been talking about this ever since they talked about xCloud, where you take their xCloud infrastructure that allows for game streaming, and you take Game Pass, and you look at the two and you go, what if I put them together? And then they're obviously BFFs with Nintendo at this point. So
yep, there is a very good working relationship between the pair of them. So
yeah, so why not put it on Switch and say, hey, if you have a Switch, do you want to play Forza Horizon 4 and Gears 5 when it comes out, and Apex Legends maybe? And some of this other stuff that maybe a lot of stuff that can't run on the Switch for some reason or another. I think Microsoft can come in and say, yeah, we've got this cool platform though, and for $10 a month, you can stream a whole bunch of really cool stuff from Xbox One and 360 and the original Xbox.
Well, isn't Hellblade on
it's coming to Switch, yeah.
It's coming to Switch, and it's already on Game Pass. So play the cartridge version for your Switch that has crappy resolution.
Right.
Stream the Game Pass version.
Right. Well, it's great for people that live in the middle of nowhere and don't have a good internet connection. You can get the on-card version for the Switch. If you want something that's high res or you already have Game Pass, then download the Game Pass app for your Switch.
I'm curious if this will be a case of just allowing them to. I'm obviously nothing's announced. I'm curious if this is going to be a direct Game Pass transference over. These are the games you can download and play using the Game Pass app. Download them.
Oh, interesting. Them. Right.
Or if this is going to be a hybrid. These are the games you can download. These are the games you can stream. Or if they're going to do like whatever they did with Resident Evil 7, where it's like half download, half stream.
Right.
Where you have the basics there, and then you just stream like certain things.
Right.
I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like this is one of those news stories where you read the rumor and you're like, yeah, man, I sort of hope that happens, because that feels like a good idea. Yeah. It feels like everybody wins.
And then before you know it, we've got next generation of Xbox coming out, and if they can make Wi-Fi compatible, because I know the Xbox One controls were originally direct Wi-Fi. I know the new Xbox One controls are Bluetooth and direct Wi-Fi.
Correct.
So I'm curious how long until we start seeing the Game Pass on TVs.
Well, and you raise a good point too, is I wonder if there's any capability for you to use an Xbox controller on your Switch.
Because if you can do that and kind of replace the Pro Controller.
Yeah, and man, the Pro Controller is already really good. But yeah, I don't know. And there's also the rumor out this week that Microsoft is going to show multiple Xbox consoles at E3 this year. And assuming one of them is the streaming console you and I have been talking about for seemingly 2 or 3 years at this point. That could be really interesting. A brand new day. of two console manufacturers working together.
Yep. Now, if only the
Weird,
third
man.
would get in line.
If only.
Don't worry. It's just a Switch. We can just turn it on.
It's just
a
a Switch. Just a dude in an office with a bunch of switches.
The developers
There's
have to tell us.
There's a Switch labeled for every game that came out of PS4. We just got to find it and flip that Switch. Let's move on to emails. We're going to start off with one that we're just talking about. Bearded Lady says, with Rocket League updated to support cross-platform parties, how do you think cross-platform trading will affect games like Rocket League? For example, I have several items that are very rare on Xbox One trade market, but could lose value if a cross-platform open market were available. Says, by the way, I'm not sure cross-platform trading is a thing in real life yet. I don't have people to test it with, and the internet is inconclusive.
Yeah. And honestly, that's the biggest game changer, because right now you have all these dirty little black markets dirty little grey markets where items are traded from game to game, depending on your platform of choice. And rarity is a big factor in that. I mean, it was the same with the real-world auction house for Diablo 3.
It's the same with Team Fortress 2 hats and gear for there. You know, Valve has been monetizing that stuff for a real long time.
So I think it's going to be interesting because, number one, if it all works, great. If you've got a PlayStation 4 and you're a fan of Rocket League, hit me up on Discord, because I would like to sit down and try it and see how it works and get into
the voice chat and the party play and all that stuff.
I'd like to have a look at that and see how it all co-ops together and see if it works okay. So send me a message, MoonPR on Discord, whatever. Sit down, play a couple of rounds just to get the feelies going on and see actually how it works, because I haven't actually tested with this yet.
Yeah.
But I could very, very quickly see these markets all, like, prices are going to go either through the roof or through the floor, depending on what item you are. I mean, it just reminds me of the guy who put a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards on his bike tire. Because he was a fan of it when he was a kid, so he put on like his new bike that he bought, and one of them was like the Black Lotus, which is like the most expensive Magic card ever. And people, literally, he put them on and then he like varnished over the top of them.
Oh, jeez.
So they were irreparable kind of thing, and it was just like, oh man, you just put $100 and something thousand on your bike tire.
Yeah, jeez.
But I mean, it's what it's going to do. It's going to blow the markets open. Like, it's
in a really interesting way, because I feel like we haven't seen this before.
I mean, that's what's so interesting about it, and what could be so special is it's for the first time in how long it's something truly unique happening. Like, the only other thing I can think of is Elite Dangerous, where they have their servers, and things I sell on my version affects the markets on the PC and the Thingo and the PS4 version.
Exactly.
But that's always been that way. This isn't a case of here is an established market, now let's just drop a bomb on it and see how things turn out kind of thing.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, Jimbo in chat really made my mouth water with that. Which is...
Yeah, it says Nintendo can give back and let Xbox put Breath of the Wild on Game Pass in 4K HDR, the world would go insane. Yeah. If that was to happen, I'd happily play Breath of the Wild again.
I mean, if Nintendo were gonna do that and send it back the same way, stick Smash Brothers out.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Xbox Live, because I hate to say it, Nintendo, but the best multiplayer server infrastructure out there right now is Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get Smash on Xbox Live with that amount of players playing from Xbox as well,
about 50 million more players playing Smash. Yeah. That'd be crazy. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord asks us a couple of questions here. With the rumors that Nintendo will be bringing back a dead game, Scalebound, which has been the rumor for Nintendo might be bringing Scalebound to Switch, which sounds plausible.
I mean, if they do, they do. Good on them, and good on Platinum for being able to actually cash out on the work they did. But at the same time, I'm not going to cry any spilt tears. Like, I've seen a bunch of people... the first tweet I saw about this, I clicked it. The first comment was, I hope it does so all the Xbox fanboys can cry their little tears. And it's just like...
Oh, Jesus.
Really?
Get over it.
Really?
No one's fighting this fight anymore.
No.
Nice.
Except for the Sony CEOs.
Yeah, that's true. It says Platinum Nintendo and Nintendo are homies, and now seems that Xbox and Nintendo are becoming more than just Facebook friends. Good way of putting it.
It's complicated.
Do you think either are true? And if so, what does this mean for gaming? The other one he talked about was Game Pass on Switch, which you just talked about. Yeah, I feel like when Nintendo got Bayonetta, that was a big get for the hardcore action fans.
It was a big get for Bayonetta fans as well.
Yeah, and I think Nintendo getting Scalebound isn't a big get.
No, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, because I don't think we saw enough of that game. We did get gameplay trailers and we got stuff, but I feel like we never saw enough. Bayonetta already had a title out where it's like, more Bayonetta? Great. I played the first one. That was incredible. Like, it's not on Switch or Wii U? Cool.
Probably one of the best character action games of all time. The first Bayonetta.
Yeah. And I think you look at Scalebound and you look at it and say, I mean, that game looked cool, but we never really got anything for me to say, all right, Scalebound's on my Switch now? All right, thank God I have a Switch. I'm getting it. You know,
if it suddenly comes out and it's like Drake and God, but renamed Scalebound, that's fine.
Yeah, that'd be weird enough to work, yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I was amped for it because it was a Platinum game. I was never amped for the type of game it is because I never knew enough about it. And I'll be honest, my opinion of Platinum has gone down a little bit because they seem to be spreading themselves too thin. Like, yeah,
I think they needed a lot of contract work, and I think that contract work got them into trouble, and they never got out from under that sort of misunderstanding. Like, all these companies do contract work, and I think people were saying like, Platinum made a Transformers game. It's like, not real. I mean, sort of, but not really. Like, it's not really a Platinum game.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever got out from under that.
No, but at the same time, like, their name was first and foremost on that dev team. You know, it was...
Yep.
As soon as you kick up the game, it comes up with Platinum, and then it's a less than stellar game. You know?
Yeah.
I feel bad for whoever this Microsoft Studios is for making such a great game in Crackdown 3, and they don't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it goes one of two ways. You get Bayonetta 2 or you get Street Fighter 5. It's going to go one of the two ways.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
We won't know until it's officially announced and it comes out. Like,
yeah.
Hopefully.
If it ever does. And if Nintendo passes on it and decides they don't want to resurrect it, I sort of wouldn't blame them.
It's not like they don't have any games they can choose from.
Yeah, exactly. T-Bomb Rocks also asked, Sony has reported that the final 2 models of the Vita will stop production in Japan. With the success of the Switch, it has me wondering if Sony will take another shot at handheld gaming, or at the very least a hybrid PS4/handheld model. I feel like the second option is a lot more likely than them coming out with another handheld.
Yeah, you're thinking PlayStation Switch kind of thing?
Yeah, because I think they tried 2 or 3 times, depending on how many PSPs you want to count. They tried a bunch of times to get a handheld, and both the PSP and the Vita were really good, that they just never got there for whatever reason. Memory card prices. But for whatever reason, they never really caught fire.
Memory card prices and also hardware prices. I mean, let's make no bones about it. Those were expensive pieces of kit.
Yep. And I think the Switch is so popular because you have the handheld and then you have the docked, played on the big TV, sit in your couch, and you have it on the handheld and play it on the tiny screen that's super bright, and everyone's trying to sleep in the bedroom and they're yelling at you.
It's probably also worth noting that Nintendo makes games specifically for their hardware.
Yes.
Whereas Sony were like, oh, you want Uncharted? Here is a farted out version of Uncharted.
Here's a motion controlled, touch screen controlled Uncharted. It's like, that's not... Stop doing that.
And then on the flip side, you've got Nintendo, who make a Zelda game where to solve one of the puzzles, you close the lid on the DS, which is still
really good.
The most mind-blowing thing to me.
Yep. You had to stamp your map.
Mm-hmm.
And you close the... Yeah, that was really good. And I think... The thing is, I think when you look at Microsoft, the possibility of them doing a handheld console, like a handheld hybrid console, seems fairly low. That doesn't seem like it's the market vertical that they really want to get into. It seems like they'd rather put Xbox Game Pass streaming stuff on your phone. You already have a phone. Game Pass is $10 a month. Whatever. It's only $10 more as opposed to $400 for like a 4K HDR handheld.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing with Microsoft is that they're gonna push for the strongest console again. That's what they're gonna do because they like it or not, they've had success with the X and that message.
And that's what Microsoft and Sony are fighting with each other for. Nintendo is off doing their own thing, but the two of them are going to have that arms race time and time again.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Microsoft is they have a history, not even just on the Xbox side, but on Microsoft side, period, for server tech. They have always had a rock-solid foundation for Xbox Live.
Yep.
Why would you go out and spend however many billions on R&D to make a handheld when you can literally spend a couple of million and figure some R&D on your existing tech to just make streaming games possible?
Yeah, you extend your current infrastructure to support iOS and Android, or to support Switch as an example. Like, why make a handheld console when you can put Xbox Live on Switch?
Yep. Or on phones or tablets or everything else. If it's got a screen, you can run it.
Yeah, and I think the thing for Sony, the thing that they need to struggle with is the PS5 going to be this hybrid dock-undock handheld console, or are they going to lean even deeper into VR and AR? Like, which one of those paths are you going to go down? Because I don't think you do both with the hardware requirements for VR and AR. So I think that's the fork in the road they're at right now, where Microsoft is very clear, Nintendo is very clear. Sony needs to figure, which company do you align yourself with?
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing. I think that's where Microsoft doesn't get the credit it deserves, because the Xbox division is, we are the most powerful console. This is their path, right? And they are
hardware, operating system, games. But they're focused.
Everyone forgets that Xbox is backed by Microsoft, who on the back end, they've still got all that mixed reality and AR stuff at enterprise level, stuff like that.
HoloLens is still a product that's alive. They're just not doing anything with it in the gaming space right now.
So they have that in the back end getting developed and getting cheaper and cheaper as more places come to accept it. Like, I've read stories from surgeons who've started using AR stuff to have
that stuff is super cool.
Monitors, like the health monitors, basically in eye line, so they can see it while they're operating. It's mind-blowing stuff, and all the while that's out there, it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to make. And then I'm assuming when it's right, they'll just drop it onto the gaming side of things and be like, okay, this is at a point where we think you can make a success out of it. Go.
Right.
I'm not going to lie, Sony feels like the one who is struggling here, because the PlayStation division is doing fantastically well. It has been for years. PlayStation 3 aside, really rough couple of years, but Sony, the PlayStation market is amazing. They are struggling on TVs, laptops, movies. All of their other markets are the ones that are struggling.
A lot of stuff they've sold off already.
Yeah.
Expert Shivo on chat says Microsoft making AR or VR games give me Zoom flashbacks. I think that's why they're not interested in it for a while. I think their bread and butter right now is, we are making home consoles that you pop a disc in and you play stuff. And if you want Game Pass, you can do that. If you want to download your games, cool, you can do that too. It's also a Blu-ray player, but whatever. We're focusing on the games, and we're the place you come to for the most powerful console and the best games. Whether or not that's true for you is beyond, but that's their marketing.
Yeah, they also have done a good job of pushing you like to play on PC, here's the games available on PC.
Yeah, like your Game Pass goes on cross and cross-buy and save and progression and all that stuff. That's a good point. And I think when they look at VR and AR, VR is certainly there and obviously popular on PC where that stuff can move much faster. But I think you look at what Sony has done on VR on home consoles, it's not really there for whatever reason. I couldn't even begin to guess what that reason would be. But from Microsoft's standpoint, obviously VR didn't launch with what Scorpio eventually came to be, which they were trying to do. So I think if I was in Microsoft's shoes, I don't think I would do VR or AR for a real long time. Let that stick on phones. Let that stick on some headsets and stuff. But I think with how Microsoft is trying to crawl back up from some of the mistakes they made early on in the Xbox One's life cycle, they don't need to get distracted by stuff that isn't working. They need to get distracted. They need to focus on the console and Game Pass and Xbox Live and all the stuff that the bread and butter stuff, not the stuff that was just going to split them off.
Yeah, I guess what? They changed CEO or whatever of the Xbox division who came in and said, this is about games. And all of a sudden, it's doing a lot better. Enough of this hubris when you're on top kind of story.
Yeah, what are you guys, Sony?
Like, Microsoft did it too. Like, Microsoft did it this year. Or this gen.
100%.
They all need to stop. I get you're trying to increase your market value and your market share and diversify your portfolios and all the other buzz terms.
Right.
Learn about gamers. Go on Twitter for 5 seconds and you'll see a gamer complaining about something. They don't like change. Make games.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting E3 this year, I think, because I feel like one of the companies, Microsoft or Sony, is going to tip their hand a little bit and just sort of be like, well, it's the future of the PlayStation, the future of Microsoft, something like that. And if they don't outright show it, I feel like we're going to see something, some like winks, like, well, PS5, wink.
Sony's not even going to be there.
I keep forgetting that because it's such a given. So Sony won't be showing anything about the PS5 this year, of course. But maybe that's Microsoft's chance to say, here are all the games. No one else has shown up to the show, so here's a bunch of hardware too. We're just going to show everything because screw it, who's going to stop us?
I mean, right now, Microsoft is winning the hearts and minds. In my opinion, they are winning that fight. At the start of
Game Pass has gone a long way towards that.
Game Pass, backwards compatibility.
Yep.
Clear communication about stuff. Like when they cancelled Scalebound, they came out and they said the relationship was not working as we wanted it to work. It was
Scalebound wasn't fun. Like it wasn't coming along.
They are winning the hearts and minds fight, and they are doing a good job in pushing their message. Whereas Sony just seems to take one shoe after another and just try and eat it as fast as they can.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, we're very excited for E3 coming up in a couple of months, but that's the end of this week's...
Dude, don't say that.
Hey, I don't have to go. It's not the stressful time for me. I just have to write a 17-page document for show notes and then talk for 4 hours.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I know. That's our episode this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get all the cool behind-the-scenes stuff. There's Moonpier's Song of the Week, exclusive to the Outcasts at the $2 or higher level. The $5 is really the sweet spot. You get everything on there. And it's only $5 a month. Like I've been talking about, it's not $5 an episode, so it's just $5 is really cheap. So you get a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, you get like 3 episodes a month or something like that.
Yeah, you have 2 episodes of We Rogue Like It coming up this week because we finished up a game and then we scientifically rank it.
Because we're crazy, is what you mean.
Yes, mostly. Watch our descent into madness as we add more games to a list and then nicely fight about them.
Yes.
This game's Game Month Game Pass game. This month's Game Club game is Brother: A Tale of Two Sons. Go check that out. It's on pretty much everything, as we learned before. This gen and previous gen consoles, so go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've obviously lost my mind, so we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Are
you okay over there?
Tired. Did you hear the yard work going on, by the way?
Nope.
Haha. All right.
All I had
That's
was
the HDR ghosts.
Yeah, the HDR ghosts attacking, which it's great. The show's about to end and it calms down.
Right.
Okay. Show titles?
Hit me with those show titles.
I'm assuming you're writing the one from Jimbo down.
I did, yes, thank you.
Least controversial.
Yes.
I can perform...
I put the least controversial with a question mark. I'm going to start with the least controversial?
Yeah, question mark definitely suits that one.
Yeah.
I can perform acceptably. Agent Thick. 2 C's.
Yep.
Wait. A lot of Gorshes. Oh, I can't talk like Goofy, sorry.
Yeah.
Professional Big Boy. We've tried nothing and nothing is working. I'm tempted to just say we've tried nothing.
And that's a Simpsons quote, if I remember correctly.
And the market vertical, which I just think is great, stupid buzzword terminology.
The market vertical. All right, I have the least controversial with a question mark. I am the jump master. I can perform acceptably 2 milliseconds away from swearing. Concrete foundation of pure joy. Agent Thick, diversify your portfolios, professional big boy, and the market vertical. Market vertical is good. I'm going to put a check next to that.
Least controversial.
Yep.
Professional big boy, and I can perform acceptably are my top 3 picks. Because I can perform acceptably is us, like, down to a T.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Professional
I
big
like
boy is
least
good as
controversial.
well.
I can perform acceptably.
Show me that pen again. Okay.
Is a Uniball Vision. Hey, there we go. Look at that. Cheers. Tink. Yeah, I actually have a whole box of them.
Yeah, my wife bought 3 boxes of different kinds, so I have my pen containers up there.
It's true love. Any other week, I feel like the market vertical would win. I feel like that one's really good. Professional big boy, I don't think that's as good as controversial or acceptably.
Yeah.
The thing is, I like the word controversial, and I like the word acceptably.
Yeah, they're both really, really solid words as well.
Yeah. I like the idea of it being the least controversial just because of the question mark. But it's even with I can perform acceptably. I feel like that's just a good title.
Yeah. I think the thing is they're both solid titles.
I'm going to vote for I can perform acceptably over the other.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little punchier in the TVGP title sort of way that I can't quantify.
I feel like in any other setting, least controversial question mark would probably get it, but I can perform acceptably is a very TVGP show title.
That's true. I want to really lean into our shtick.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to circle it then. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 592 for February 25th, 2019. I can perform acceptably.
Good at everything. Master of nothing.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us live. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Louise. We can stop recording.